Hey everybody, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I have my second fall project that I wanted to share with you. This is an October daily project that I did last year, obviously, right? Because we haven't started October this year. I used the Wicked Lane collection from Ashley Horton, the CutShoppe. At least I think that's what it's called. Either way, I will link it. My husband and I took a really nice walk around the neighborhood, and I was just taking photos of the changing leaves and also some really cool decorations. So I did photos that are a little smaller than 3x4 so that way they would fit. And I also shrunk down a large cut file that says something wicked comes this way. And then I'm just going to add in a ton of different die cuts and labels from the kit and call it done. It's really simple and it's really quick, but it's a fun layout and definitely a layout design I may repeat this coming year. And I'd love to know in the comments section if you guys are doing October daily. I guess I should say daily-ish because I do not do daily. I always try to aim for at least 13 stories. I even did a big picture class about documenting October in 13 stories. And so that's usually my goal. Daily is too much for October, and especially with December daily, it's just too much. So I placed a pumpkin die cut down, and then I also placed down a butterfly die cut. You saw me kind of mess with it. And now I've got some of these labels, and I'm going to add one over to the left-hand side and also to the bottom of this really cool house. It's like a house, not necessarily in our neighborhood, but it's close enough that we can walk to. And it looks like a house from New Orleans. And it was completely decked out in spider webs, a graveyard, and I got a really cool photo of it. And so I love it. I think it's such a unique house. Someone also had a giant like skeleton jack-o'-lantern sculpture. You can see that over on the right-hand side. So that was a really cool photo to get. And I wanted to add a dimensional embellishment. So I grabbed a few Scrap and Happy Studio flares, and I will be able to use those as well. And I love the large shadow photo that's, I think, about 4x8 roughly. And again, this is probably a design I will repeat in my October daily for this year, which I am so excited to begin prepping for that. I know I mentioned it in my weekend crafting video, and that is definitely what I'm working on this week. One of those things that I'm working on, kind of my plan, and also putting together just a list of different ideas for October daily, based on our traditions and also based on the current year, this year, and what's on the calendar. Lots of kid activities, that I know for sure. So I'm going to use my glue pen and go ahead and glue this down as best as I can, and then put it up in the corner where there's some negative space in the shadow photo, and then the rest of the white space. And I think it turned out fantastic. I love how it looks, and it's definitely a unique title piece for a little neighborhood walk. And that's something that I love about October daily and also December daily. It really gives me that invitation to just kind of play, look at my supplies different, and document my stories in a little bit of a different way. So I really like that. I'm having trouble with the swirly pieces. I don't know why I'm spending so long on it, but I wanted to make sure that I got those swirly pieces to stay down and look like the swirly pieces. I had two letters that were detached, the I and the C, so I went ahead and made sure that I added those back on, and I wanted to add in the other little scrolly piece that I have. I'm going to make a cluster down by kind of where the bottom of the shadow photo is, and also the jack-o'-lantern sculpture. I'll have a die cut that's a pumpkin over by the Wicked, and I just want to make sure that I get that visual triangle. So by making these two other clusters, I'm able to achieve that. I also made sure to grab a large star die cut. I picked that one in particular since the other side had the large pumpkin die cut. That way both sides are balanced. And on the butterfly wings, I added really tiny pieces of foam. That way I can kind of lift up the lift up the butterfly. And then I added in one little word phrase sticker that says wicked. I didn't necessarily need to add that since it's already in the title, but I figured, you know what, I'm just going to add it in because the collection that Ashley has came with a really big sheet of all the different phrases you could think of for October and Halloween. I do also wind up adding one over to the left-hand side. It actually said happy haunting, and I just took off the haunting and I'm left with happy. So I felt pretty clever that I came up with that. I know you guys, I've talked about this, but I love when I come up with like clever things like that. It feels so smart when I'm scrapbooking because it was not a haunting, but it was definitely a happy. I wanted to add one more little journaling spot. So I have an orange label that I will add in a little bit. But first I need to add the double-sided adhesive tape for the flares. And I am going to take out that tree one. I remembered that I liked the house mini one better because we were looking at houses, we were walking in our neighborhood, and so it just made more sense. And it's just so cute. I wanted to use that little house. So once I have those flares added in, I can jot down my little note for the neighborhood walk and then put my project into my album. And again, just taking this walk was what I needed at that time because I remember I think I was on doing a really big project or working on a class. And so I just really needed a break from like all day creating or all morning creating. So it was really nice to get outside and see all the different trees and the different decorations. Fall is just my absolute favorite. And I think you might have just seen my daughter's hand. She was probably asking me what that sculpture was. So I'm just jotting down the little note about how happy I was to go on this walk with my husband. Then I'll grab my album. And for this particular year, 2022, I just used 2 pieces of chipboard and some binder rings to make my album. That way I can make the album pretty big and I can keep adding in all the different little inserts that I love adding in. And I think I'm going to do that again for this year because just buying albums is so expensive. But I have chipboard on hand, so I can definitely use that. And if you guys want to see the other process videos, you can go ahead and check those out. I also have a whole playlist, plus the entire walkthrough of this album is already up. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this fall project come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. All right, have a great day. Bye.